everyone, and welcome to We Are a Crotchety Old Man and a Woman, the podcast for you, with you, and sometimes even about you. How you doing, Abigail?
I'm doing pretty well, Arden.
Good, awesome. So this is it's been a kind of a hectic week, I think. We did a lot of activities today. I actually went to Costco with Abigail today, and I discovered I was dropping a lot of F-bombs today. It wasn't a good thing. I
No, it wasn't.
it was kind of scary. I just I have not been to a Costco in I don't know like 9, 10 years, and I felt like it was Black Friday. Where everyone's lined up ready to get in, and people were like running over each other. It was I thought people were going to start fighting over sales, but like their prices weren't that great.
Okay, Arden, were you traumatized?
I am traumatized. I had,
Really?
had to go to my quiet place when I got home. After,
Um,
so, so that was me today. But anyway, you know what I need?
what do you need?
I need a Mai Tai because it's National Mai Tai Day. What?
Awesome. I love my ties.
So do I. With the orange. Now, okay, what's your favorite garnish? Do you go with the orange, the lime, the cherry? What do you go with? Or all of them? I've seen that too.
Probably the orange. And you know where I had the best Mai Tai of my life? You'll
What?
never be able to guess.
Yeah, yeah. If you said Chuck E. Cheese, that would be one I would never guess.
No, it actually was red lobster.
Really? Wow,
Yes.
I never would have thought that.
But I have to get the Mai Tais without any coconut.
Okay, okay.
So no coconut rum.
No coconut
But
rum.
this guy, it's all up to the bartender in the end. But the
Right.
best one I've ever had was that a red lobster.
Yeah, usually you could just go with a dark rum and a light rum, and that's it. And some grenadine. I think that was the other part in it.
I
Um,
just like them.
yeah, they're pretty good. Pretty good. Better than what I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking
Well, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking what a blueberry trumpekin. It's this one's been frozen, so it's not melting very well. But it's Scotty's vodka, some rum, crushed blueberries blended in with ice, and it's supposed to be served frozen, and I think and it's over frozen. So I'm very disappointed in it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well,
Um,
one of these days, International Food Day is going to be chocolate mousse pie.
Oh, I know. We missed all the good ones. We missed chocolate pudding pie. We missed National Donut Day. It's bullshit.
Mm.
It's total bullshit. But one day we'll have something good. But do you know what else happened today? This day in history?
No.
There's a few of them. I'm not really going to go into much detail like I sometimes do, and I know that annoys a lot of people. So Albert Einstein published his theory of relativity today, and that was in 1905. I don't have anything way back, so we're going to just do the 1900s and a little of the 2000s. In 1908, a comet struck Siberia that destroyed over 500,000 acres, possibly the biggest comet strike that has ever been recorded in the history of mankind. Pretty amazing. 500,000 acres was destroyed. In 1934, the history of the Night of the Long Knives, a unique part of history when, once again, this is 1934, before World War II. Adolf Hitler's henchmen went out and assassinated a lot of their own people. They had an internal purge. Anyone who disagreed with Hitler was either jailed or actually killed, and brutally, like actually with knives. Very few were shot. They were brought in to pretty much, I was going to say pay homage, but to bow down to him. And if they didn't, because back then there was still others who vied for leadership of the Nazi Party, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
In 1937, for our English fans, the world's first emergency phone number was given. 1937. Like we have 911, they have 999. So way, way, way back. And finally, a little more current in 2019. Do you remember when President Trump went to the demilitarized zone and stepped
Yes.
into Korea, North Korea?
Of course I do.
Well, it was the first time that that had ever been done. He stepped in, he took two full steps, turned around. He then escorted not Chairman Z, what's his name? The leader of Korea. I was about to say, uh,
Psycho.
Psycho, little rocket man. Jung Kim, is it Kim? I don't know. But anyway, escorted him back over, and then they went back into the militarized zone, and we're talking. So that was this day in history. And then there was another guy who tightroped across Niagara Falls, but I could care less about that. This guy, I mean, what an odd thing to do. Hey, let me put a wire across some areas and just walk across it. Ooh ah. So what everyone has been talking. Everyone has been talking about the Ask Abigail question of the week. And I got to admit, we actually had several emails and texts about it. And are you ready, Abigail?
Yeah, I think I am. Not sure what you're gonna dish at me, but
So it's
I
sort of
think
a,
I have an inkling of what you might ask me.
well, it's a two-part question, actually. So the question is, what are your thoughts about the debate? And second, what were the pluses for both Joe Biden and Donald Trump? I thought that was good. Like, what was their best parts about it?
Their best? I think we should go with the worst, but
Well,
uh
that was the question that was proposed to me.
okay. Well, all right. Let's first talk about the debate. Overall, Joe Biden was shown for what he is, and that is a shell of a man who's a puppet for the Democratic Party. Um, the higher echelons have really been running this country, using him as a puppet. Everybody knows he looked pale, he stuttered, couldn't keep his train of thought. His eyes got glazed over several times throughout the debate. But what really struck me was just the hypocrisy of the left on, especially specifically with the media. That same day, all commentators on MSNBC and CNN would just do nothing but pound into the point that Joe Biden is together and the smartest president we've ever had. They looked at the videos of Biden that have been previously shot. What was it, in Italy or was it in France?
That was in Normandy, France.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's probably seen it where, they're watching the incoming paratroopers as a group, and Biden just turns around and walks away and looks dazed and confused.
He gave the thumbs up to a paratrooper who was not even looking at him, and the prime minister of Italy had to gather him back for the photo.
Right. And then of course the left said that those images were doctored. Well,
Right.
they were. Why didn't the left produce the real video?
Uh,
But they can't, and they didn't. But
okay.
then go back to the hypocrisy. 10 minutes into the debate, all these Democratic pundits and the Democratic Party are in disbelief in their opinion. How could this be? How could this happen? He's got to go. Again, the narrative by the right has been spot on for more than a year and a half, probably 2 years. And they've been lambasted by the left. And, it all came to light on debate night. Now, Trump, he didn't really have to do much because the downfall of Biden was the major outcome of the debate. But I thought that their discussion about abortion, which is obviously a hot spot in all politics and everyone's lives, essentially, Trump tried to make it clear that Roe v. Wade does allow for partial birth abortion or even more horrific after the baby's born and
depending
potentially
on
killing it.
depending on what state you're in,
Exactly.
which
So,
is voted on by the people of that state.
right. But at the end of the day, Roe v. Wade allowed for partial birth abortion.
Correct.
And Biden just said, he kept trying to pound that he would bring Roe v. Wade back. And Trump just correctly said, then you're allowing partial birth abortions.
And he
So
wanted
I
to
thought,
be.
yeah, I thought Trump won on that. Again, Biden was just so lost, it was sad.
It
But
was.
then, you say the best part of it.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
worst part, what?
do you think Joe Biden scored any points? Like, what was his best part that he did?
I don't think he scored any points, to be honest with you. But both of them were at their lowest when they started picking each other about golf.
Their golf games. See, I
Yeah,
actually
but
found that actually a little funny because it was like so stressful listening to
well,
them. It got
well,
it got
Biden
childish.
started it by just saying it was a lie that Trump talks lies about his height and his weight. And then the golf game came up, and Trump did return some fire back. But in the end, Trump did say, let's not be like children.
If
So he took the higher road, but it was a low point for our country to have our two presidential candidates debating and arguing over who has the best handicap.
It would be great if Biden was in better shape, in my personal opinion, where the two of them for charity could have a golf match between them. Like
Hmm.
put it on the air and actually have it and just try to raise a lot of money for like our veterans or something. I would love that. That would be great. I think it'd be great for like just for one day off of not having political like pundits yelling and screaming. I think that would be kind of neat.
And I'll just add that overall, Trump, he 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 didn't do awesome, but he was more about policy, and he got a lot of good good sentences about his policies. I can't really think of what Biden substantially was able to state about his policies.
Okay.
At
Well,
least it was true.
well, thank you, Abigail. People, by the way, love the Ask Abigail. We get more email from people and texts.
Well,
Uh,
I was pretty calm today, so I'm sure that a lot of people will be disappointed in that. But um, do I say I'm delighted that Joe Biden looked so horrible and sounded horrible? The answer's no, but it's just sad. And what's horrifying to me is I want to know who's been running the country.
I I don't know. Maybe it would be a reality TV show. Who's running the country?
Oh,
Which
here we go with reality TV.
so I was trying to change up the mood from just talking politics. And so I tried to do some research on the most watched reality TV shows, and I really couldn't find it. But I did find a article by a website called Collider, which I've never heard before, and they had the top 10 best. Now, this is in their opinion, the top 10 best reality shows, reality TV shows. And I went through them. I've heard of all of them, and I barely watch reality TV. I know my brother enjoys it, but I there's none that you would not have heard of. So I'm going to propose this question to you. Can you name three of the top 10 reality TV shows before you get three wrong answers?
Okay, I'll try, but
All right, let's see. It's a lot of pressure on you.
I guess The Bachelor and Survivor are very popular.
The Bachelor slash Bachelorette is one, the Survivor is two. You just need one more and you win already.
Hmm.
Hmm. The
How about
Bachelor,
those?
by the way, Survivor was number one as the best, and the Bachelor slash Bachelorette was number six on the list.
Now, what about reality TV show with like a family? Or
That could be on the list. It could not be on the
it
list.
could,
It
yeah.
could. This took
Because
in
to me,
all reality TV.
yeah. Um, there was a real silly one where they married each other right away, and then they tracked that, but I don't remember what the name of the show was.
Okay, you still got three wrong answers to go, so you could just name any
So that
reality.
one's not on the list.
The one where they married at first sight. By the way, I saw that it was not on the list, so that's one
Hmm.
wrong answer. Would want me to
Yeah,
play some?
I,
I could play some music. Ding 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 na 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 na
I'll
na na.
cut you off right now. That's not very helpful, and you don't sound very good. Um, I don't know. I just don't watch those types of shows. But
Okay.
what about the family down in the South with the long beards?
Duck Dynasty.
Yes.
Not on the list. In the top 10, in the top 100, they were there.
All right. How about the one with the pawn shop?
The pawn shop was not on. It was in the top 100.
Okay. Well,
Um,
I lost then, so we're
okay.
done with this topic.
Oh, well, let me give you the because I know my brother would be interested. Number 10 was The Voice. Number nine, Top Chef. Number eight, going back to the 90s, The Real World. Number seven, Project Runway. Number eight, The Bachelor. Number five, American Idol. Number four was a huge surprise, and for Pride Week, RuPaul's Drag Show. And number three, Big Brother. And number two, one of my brother's all-time favorite, The Amazing Race. The big shock, Dancing with the Stars, not on this list.
Okay, but Dancing with the Stars and American Idol, why are they considered in that
It's
category of shows?
they're non-scripted television.
I disagree. That's like a game show.
It's a game show, but I guess they figure it's listed as
They're
reality
wrong.
TV.
I
Oh
figure
wow,
they're wrong.
they're no feisty.
Well, I mean, how can you say Dancing with the Stars is a reality TV show? It's a competition.
It's a competition. It could be a game show, I guess. I don't
I
know.
disagree. Not to be crotchety
Crotchety, a
Abigail,
new
but
word. Crotchety
but
Abby.
I just don't agree with that at all.
Okay, so I was going to ask you if you could come up with your own reality TV show, but maybe you could come up with your own comedy show. Would that help?
It's possible. I've been in my job for 28 years and I typically hire people right out of college. And I've had a couple funny ones. It's a microbiology lab, and I was working with this young kid, and the test tube fell over. And we're just talking about non human health bacteria, so there's no fear of anything causing the disease. So it splashed on the tabletop, and he immediately walked out, ran and took a shower, and obviously changed his scrubs, took a shower, and then he came back into the lab. And I just looked at him and I said, I don't think it's going to work out for you if you're a germaphobe. And
Working in a
I
microbiology
mean,
lab, being a
working in a
germaphobe.
microbiology lab, and you're that afraid. And I just told him I don't think this was a good job for him, and he agreed. So,
Nice.
but again, I work in a micro lab. We do crazy things, and one of the most craziest things we had to test was what they called hot dog dip. And
Hot dog dip.
dip, yep. So
Wait,
to
hold on. Before you go further, is this actually something you dip real hot dogs in?
yes, we used
Live hot dogs,
live hot dogs,
like
whatever
live
you want to
dogs,
call them,
like
and we dunked them in this stuff that supposedly would kill off any and all bacteria that may be present in the hot dog juice or the hot dog itself. Well, when we were done testing them, we had to put them through what we call an autoclave, which
hmm
is nothing but a big pressure cooker. So the hot dogs were in these test tubes with caps. But when we opened up the door, all of the hot dogs exploded
like a
and
microwave.
was all over the walls and the ceiling and the bottom of the autoclave. You're right, Wayne. It was like sorry,
Like
Art. It was like
when you put it
like
by.
a microwave, but the smell was so awful. And at that time, my poor younger brother was our glassware washer. And he and I were looking at it, and I said, "Good luck, buddy." And I walked away because it was so gross.
So hold
And
on.
to get all that out of there was disgusting.
Do you remember the name of the hot dogs? Like were they like Ballpark Frank or Nathan's or Hebrew National? Like did someone just go to the
I
store and
don't
buy
remember. We just went to the supermarket and bought some hot dogs.
them? So okay, so now I'm worried. Like am I supposed to like am I worried about what's in the hot dog package and the juice and stuff? Like
Well, yeah, they have to be. You can get listeria contamination if they're not you know, properly handled. But
so
that's a
on
whole different department of microbiology. Other
this is
companies had to test foods to make sure they don't contain objectionable organisms in them. My lab doesn't do that, but one of our, I know of other labs that actually have to test each batch or each lot of food that goes out, whether it's ice cream or hot dogs.
I have
So
to admit,
it is tested.
this is actually a really interesting topic. It might be boring for you because you do it, but like, so like when I like, it's about to be the Fourth of July weekend, and people are going to be like cooking up hot dogs. So what they do is they just take them out of the package and throw them on the grill. You know, they may even lick their fingers and stuff. And you're telling, but like with all of that stuff in them, like should people be washing the hot dogs first? Like you're told to wash chicken before
Yes.
cooking it. Should you be washing your hot dogs before you do that?
I don't know that that's necessary, but the same guy who was a crazy nut job that produced the hot dog dip did have a chicken dip
Right.
that they would dunk the chickens in it and, supposedly it would kill everything off. But he was a nut job. Sometimes his stuff worked, sometimes it didn't.
So I know I'm asking so many random questions, but so the dip. Okay, so right off the bat, it's not like a mustard dip. That was my every time you say it.
No, it would
Now,
be
so
like a big gallon of chicken dip, and
now
they
is
would dunk the chickens in it.
so
This is,
who's
right before they go get packaged and go on
okay?
to the
That was my question.
supermarket.
Was it consumers who would be doing this, or the actual packaging company?
The
You,
pack company.
Okay, you just answered that because that would have been strange. That all this time I've been just just throwing hot dogs on a grill when I should be putting them in the hot dog dip. But in the end, did he fail because of the explosion?
No, he was a horrible businessman. So a lot of the bigger companies stole his technology. He
Rude.
even invented something called Blue Moon, that if you added it to the toilet, you could detect any blood that may be in the
Ew.
toilet.
Really
Well, it's
useful.
gross, but it served a purpose.
So not Blue Moon the beer.
No, not Blue
Okay.
Moon the beer.
Okay. Because I don't want to be adding Blue Moon beer to a toilet because that would be really weird. Oh man. So uh I was now that we've gotten way off topic. We had by the way, we didn't even bring this up earlier about the hot dogs and stuff. So I'm looking at my notes. I was just going to briefly talk about a reality show that I liked that was like it was partially scripted. It was called The Colony. It had two seasons and it was on the Discovery Channel. And the whole concept was like the people weren't really contestants. They were uh, they were people who actually had exact jobs, like a carpenter, a geologist. So they were real geologists, real people, and they had to pretend that the outside world was under a massive virus. And they went. This is after Hurricane Katrina, and they were placed in a town that was completely abandoned and pretty beat up, and they had to see if they could create an actual not thriving but an actual place to live. And then throughout it little things were orchestrated to happen to them, but like it was amazing. They actually had to build like water containers and they had to learn how to make fire and they had to purify water and but they got into a problem with uh, the group that is for animals, the ASPCA, because
Hmm.
They were hungry one day, and there was a pool, and in the pool was an alligator, and one of the people jumped into the pool and killed the alligator on television,
Wow.
and actually killed it, and they cooked him up and ate the alligator, and they were like, "Oh my God, animal cruelty for a TV show," blah blah blah. But it was just fascinating. Like I love that show, but it didn't really do well for ratings wise, and it got a little hokey. Oh, and one person is not an expert. They're just it was an administrative assistant, so she had no actual function, and they were just showing like someone like that. How are they a detriment? Are they useful? And they were competing. Like the carpenter was always mad at one person for not doing enough work and sharing food. It was it was a pretty cool microcosm of like what people would go through in that type of atmosphere. So that was my favorite. I would actually like to see. There's kind of a show on called Alone. I think it's on the History Channel where they put people actually alone by themselves, and it's a contestants, and whoever is the last person who doesn't quit wins. I'd like to see that with Survivor. Put people on an island and make a grand prize where their whole job is to get off the island. But give it like that they have enough resources so they don't die. But at the same time, let them at it. Don't make it a game show and put cameras all over. Put it on the internet so people could watch it live. Maybe they do end up getting into a fight, and hurting each other because you make the prize like a lot of money, like $1 million. Do they all try to split the money, or does one person try to, you know, build their own raft and go something like that? That would be fun.
Okay. I want to go back to what reality TV is.
Oh, you're looking it
Survivor,
up.
even Survivor, um, at
It's
least
silly.
the last time I watched it, where they put them into teams and then they have challenges together. And then
Correct.
ultimately they decide who's going to be booted out.
Correct.
Again, in my opinion, that's a game show. Now, when you look at the housewives of Beverly Hills, where they're just following a family,
Right. Or
that to
the
me is reality.
Kardashians. Or,
That yeah, that to me is reality TV.
right. I mean, anything could be reality TV, but I guess because I don't know. I guess there has to be a difference between game shows and non-game shows.
Fair enough, and I think we've spent enough time on that. So
Yeah.
let's
So,
move on.
did you have a question earlier about something?
No, I was just going to tell the audience that Arden and I have had a really great weekend because we had no plans essentially. So we took the dogs out for a 2 mile walk at the park and they just loved it.
Oh, before
But
people actually say what 2 miles is nothing, I've gained too much weight. 2 miles actually was tough. I was panting as bad as the dogs.
but I bring that up because whenever my puppy Toto, I need him to go to the crate. I have an island in the middle of my kitchen. Well, he makes me run circles around it at least 10 rounds. And it's totally like oh, what was that game?
Like
Ring Around the Rosie.
ring around By the way,
And it just he kills me when he does it. Because like he's so stubborn, he just keeps circling around.
and you're following him, which is also really funny. But I don't know if this is true. I I heard that ring around the Rosie is actually very morbid. It's a nursery rhyme all about the Black Plague, where Ring Around the
Okay.
Rosie is actually the rosary beads, pocket full of posies, ashes are the people dying, all fall down means everyone dies. Very
Wow.
morbid. Like a lot of nursery rhymes are like that. But yeah, I just threw that in. Useless knowledge in my brain as per usual.
Well,
Um,
okay, I better stop playing that game because
yeah,
that
you're gonna have
sounds
to
a
say no
little
more Ring Around the
morbid.
Rosie. Yeah.
Yeah.
If our crowd noticed, one of the reasons why we didn't have Abigail with sports was just because I knew that Ask Abigail has been asked for more, believe it or not, which I agree with, by the way, 100%. Ask Abigail is one of our more fun parts of the show. No one wants to know what Arden cares about. No one gives a damn about me. It's all about them. We haven't seen any of those spiders at all.
Actually, no. I'm very, very glad. I don't want to ever see one of those.
Yes, I actually got a text from Mr. N, and he asked if we've seen any of those spiders. And one of the things we did, because we actually have been home 2 nights in a row on a weekend, weekend nights, we watched a movie. So we gave the shark review movie, what was it, Underneath Paris, or What Lies Beneath Paris, or something like that.
Yeah.
And, we actually got people actually said thank you. I actually saw that on Netflix as a top movie, and I'm glad you stated. So here's another one. This was not in the top movies, but oh crap, what was it called? Geez, I'm gonna have to
It
go
was
through my
called Lou, Lou.
Lou. Lou.
And it indicated very suspenseful, so I thought I'd like it. But essentially, a very elderly woman named Lou, who was essentially an ex-CIA agent,
We, by
that
the way, I
they,
guess we should say spoiler warning first.
I don't know that we need to, because if anybody else watches it, they're going to just be as disappointed as us.
Ah, okay. So go ahead.
Briefly, it was a little twisted in that she somehow managed to to lure her daughter-in-law, who she didn't had never met, who had a little girl that was her grandchild. Well, Lou though was very old and bitter and mean and just nasty. But essentially she wanted to protect this young lady who married her son.
And you don't
Now,
know that in the movie until the very end, but you kind of figure it out
correct.
very early.
Right. But I mean, again, so she is a CIA trained person, but she's got to be in her 70s. She
Right.
manages to kill two highly trained Green Berets in a fist fight and a gunfight and a you name it fight. She
Hmm.
would kill them.
She
And
killed
then,
one with a tomato can with the sharp edge of the tomato can lid.
right, it was pretty bizarre. But then Arden, basically, her son was the husband of the young lady who she left him because he was a crazy mofo. He lit her up with cigarettes, burns on her mark, on her arms, you name it. But anyway, um, apparently this kid comes back to town and locates the daughter and kidnaps her. But his bitterness was after his mother because apparently his mother let him be abducted by Iranians when she was on a mission. And obviously, and I don't blame him, I would be pretty bitter too, but he became a Green Beret.
Right.
And, ultimately, it was just a silly movie.
Silly movie. I
Silly,
mean,
silly, silly. And
three
I'm
high.
sorry.
Oh, and the worst was the actress. Like
Yeah.
the actress who played Lou, if you've ever seen the TV show Mom, she's actually the older mom. So you're used to her being in comedies, and here she is. I mean, she's in her like 70 years old, and she kills three Green Berets who might be in their 30s without any problem. I mean, she got a couple problems, but it was so unrealistic. And she's like the smartest CIA agent. And
Damn
oh,
right.
at the very beginning, they don't tell you what year it is
No.
because they have clips of Reagan talking about trading weapons for hostages. But you're like, is that live? Is that not live? Yeah, like you don't know if this is the 80s, if it's the 90s. Like you just don't know what year. Anyway, don't watch Lou.
Well, yeah, just don't watch it.
Don't waste your
That's
time.
but
Netflix, don't watch Lou.
but tonight I'm gonna try to stay awake to watch Oppenheimer. So we'll see.
We'll say
We'll have that review next week.
we have to. This might be another segment, maybe, maybe. You know, especially because there's not really much sports on for Abigail and I. We're not golf fans. We're not auto racing fans. There's baseball, but baseball is actually in the kind of still the boring stage. I mean, you still have Caitlin Clark playing, but the WNBA. But you know, uh,
I
that's
do have to squeeze in
a
that.
squeeze. We have a squeeze,
uh,
ladies and gentlemen, a squeeze.
so about Caitlin, she is the first woman to get to 200 points 75 rebounds, and 75 assists as quickly into the season ever in the WNBA history. Now,
Nice.
he has 105 turnovers, which is a very bad statistic. But in many cases, it's because their teammates aren't sharp enough to hold on to the ball.
Right. I
So,
also I made a very crude remark today, and I have to apologize. We actually were watching. We've watched the first half of the game today with Caitlin Clark, and I said, "Who is that really tall person that looks like a very large man playing?" And Abigail smacked me and said, "What's her name?" Uh,
Griner, that's all
yeah,
I know.
yeah, Griner, the woman who was abducted and it was in Russia. I had no idea, but the way she stood and her posture, and she's so tall, I said, "Is that a man playing?" And Abigail did slap me, so I want to. She stuck up for Griner. Anyway, anything else today?
Yeah, I think I want to add a segment for next week. Not a
Okay.
segment that would be repeated.
Okay.
Just think about this. What would be the worst way to die? Because I have a very sinister plan that I would implement if I had to on
I
how to kill someone.
okay. Real fast. I know one, and it was on. Did you ever watch the show MythBusters?
No.
Okay. I will tell you one of the worst ones ever, and they actually proved it to be possible. So they're saying it's true. Being tied or staked down to the ground with bamboo planted right underneath you. Within less than a week, the bamboo will actually grow inside of you and shoot stalks through you.
That's pretty bad.
And the Japanese actually did use that in World War II against some of our pilots. That
Okay, but
that's that's
again,
pretty painful and scary.
once again, I mean, I said that would be next week's segment.
Sorry,
You
that just
felt
slipped
you
my mind.
felt the need. Okay.
Useless information in my head, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway,
I'm
yeah,
so tough on you, Arden. I really
I
apologize.
I know that is, and I'm gonna have to make dinner tonight, I guess. But anyway, thank you everyone for our following on Twitter. Thank you so much for all of the emails through that. Also, the we are crotch we it's still we are crotchety old men at gmail.com. We are crotchety old men at gmail.com. And also at crotchety old man at crotchety old man on Twitter at Crotchety Old Man, and thank you. Continue sending it, and we need more help. So please, reach out to people, let us know, and say, hey, listen to the show. These people are funny, and they're goofy. Thanks, and
Good
have a great day.
night, everyone.